Hey guys, and welcome back to another trade recap. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go through a trade that I took yesterday on EU. As you can see, we're on the daily chart here, and overall on the daily we're clearly bearish. So we broke the lows here, we broke the lows here, and we've also broken the lows right here. So we've broken the lows right here. If I just make this just a little bit bigger so you can see it better. So we've broken structure right here, we've had a slight pullback here, but for me that's not enough to consider structure. For me, that is just one leg right there. So then what I've seen after this break of structure is obviously we've come up, and then this candle here has swept this candle's high. So I had that marked on right there. And then if we drop down to the 4 hour, as you can see, we are also heavily bearish on the 4 hour. So that would be the sweep on the daily. So that's clearly swept the eye there, especially on the 4 hour. So as you can see on the 4 hour, we've come down and then we've broke structure at the same point of the daily. And then we've come down, we've had a pullback and we've broke structure again. So again, we're clearly bearish on the 4 hour chart. And then what I was just thinking then, once I add all this marked up, is drop down to the 15 minute. And then once I drop down onto the 15 minute, at this point is where I was at my charts and just monitoring what was going on. Again, we had a break to the downside right here, we had a pullback. We then eventually broke to the downside again. We come down, we had a pullback again, and then we broke to the downside once more. And as you can see, we are bearish on the daily, the 4 hour, the 15 minute, so all time frames are aligned. So any shorts at this point will be high probability because all of the time frames are aligned, and that's what we love to see. So at this point in time, what I was seeing is I had my premium and discount marked, so from here to here, and as you can see, what caught my eye were these sell to buy wicks right here, because they're around the EQ, and once we get a break of structure, we expect a pullback to around the EQ. So what I had this marked here, I had these buy to sell wicks marked. Just change this to my supply. So I had this little supply zone marked here. And what I wanted to do is I just wanted to go down in time frames and just see what was in these buy to sell wicks, because personally I don't like to trade solely off buy to sell wicks. So what I did is I dropped down to the 10 minute. As you can see here, we've got this lovely engulfed sell to buy, which is a nice POI, and then I dropped down to the 5 minute to see if we could refine it anymore. And again, we have this also. So for me, this candle here is really nice. And then what I did is just simply drop down to the 1 minute and then waited for price to return if it did return at all. So dropping down to the 1 minute now. And this is what I was seeing at the point of obviously monitoring the charts. Again, we have a couple of points of interest right here. So what I did is I just simply waited for price to, come back up. So it did take a little while, it ranged around a little bit down at the bottom here. Eventually price did come up and tap into my POI. At this point here, I was thinking, we've got a lovely buy to sell candle there. So I marked this out on the 1 minute. And I just marked it as a 1 minute. And at this point, we hadn't tapped into our refined zone right here. So if we tap into this refined zone, that gives me added probability that we are going to see a push to the downside. And another thing to note is that we are heavily bearish, and you can see clearly that the momentum's down. So we've had an impulse here, and then the time that we've taken to get back to this POI has been a lot longer than this little bit of price action right here. So again, what I was doing is I was just waiting and seeing if we got our entry. So I was looking and we had a chalk up. So we had a chalk up. And then at this point, I was just waiting for this low here to be taken to see if we completed our change of character. So that would be our chalk down. And then as you can see, we've tapped into our refined 1 minute POI. We've then completed our change of character. So if I just zoom in a little bit more. We've come up, we've pulled back, we've taken the high. We've then come down, taken the low, completing our change of character. And for me, what I was looking for is now to place a trade. So what I did is I marked out this this bullish candle here, but I also took into consideration that this wick comes above this bullish candle, So what I did is I marked the bottom of the bullish candle right to the top of the bearish candle there, and then I put on my 0.25 fib, and then I entered in at the 0.25 with a 2 pip stop loss, and then I just targeted the 1 minute lows right here. So you know, this trade isn't as big as previously. Some of the previous trades I've taken in recent times and some of the recent trade recaps, but you know, 6.45% or 6.45R, however you say it, is still crazy. It's still crazy good, especially if you're on an FTMO. You've got a large personal account, whatever it may be. It's still good percentage. So what I was doing is just waiting for a tap, and then as you can see, we start coming down again. We come up and then we pull back. And for me right here, what gave me this a little bit of added confluence is this section here now is just acting as inducement. So liquidity. So this high here is acting as liquidity. So what I was waiting for is price to come up, take this liquidity here, tap into my point of interest, and then obviously we've got, you know, equal lows down here that can be targeted. So there are a couple of confluences that I had and I had in my mind when taking this trade. So all it was a case of now is just waiting for price to come up and tap me in. We get a nice tap in there, very little drawdown, and then we just continue down. And this trade, you know, it was literally in and out within under 10 minutes. So if I just measure this here, how long did it take for this to hit TP? So we got tapped in there. So literally it took 9 minutes. The trade, you know, we was in and out, 6.45%. You know, you can't really moan at that. Very nice trade, very clean. As you can see, the momentum clearly in our favour. We've got all the criteria that we need to get involved, and you know, yeah, it's just a clean trade. And with the amount of time, obviously, it took 9 minutes to complete, and that's one of the reasons, you know, why I'm literally loving trading the Phantom methodology at the moment. It's just a really good way to trade, in my opinion. You're in and out, and you can literally, once you've took this trade, you can just go about your day, you can go about your week, and just literally do whatever you want from there on out. So yeah guys, if this video did help you out, I would appreciate if you could drop a like on the video, sub to my channel, all that kind of good stuff. And without further ado guys, I will see you in my next video, and thank you very much for watching.